In today's episode, I am sitting down in person in Atlanta at America's Mart with Heidi Hardman, one of my favorite retailers who owns Polka Dots. And Heidi has built a seven-figure business. She hit that $1 million mark, which is incredibly low for women business owners to ever reach the $1 million mark. In fact, I think it's something like 1.3% of all $1 million businesses are owned by women. So I'm very proud of Heidi. And in today's episode, she's pulling back the curtain and sharing some of the ways that she got there. So if this is a goal for you, a milestone, or if you've reached it already, tune into this episode so you can really connect and learn from and be inspired by Heidi. Also at Evolve in 2024, Heidi won our 15-Mile Famous Award. We have an award ceremony for 3 retailers we're doing again in 2025. And in fact, as I'm filming this intro, we are picking the winners this week. So excited for our winners. And I asked Heidi to share some of the things that she's done to become 15-Mile Famous, which certainly helps her build to that 7-figure business. So it's in person. So if you get a chance to watch it, you'll see Heidi and I together. And Heidi has been on the show before. So we will link to her episode. In that episode, part of what we discuss is how she works with her social media manager and how she's getting that content done and how they're marketing. And so that was a really helpful episode too. So if you haven't listened to her first one, we'll link to it. And then let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis, the Wolf of Main Street, and this is Rooted in Retail. Heidi, yes. Welcome back to Rooted in Retail.
Hey, Crystal. Happy to be here as always with you.
I know, and we're in person, which is even better. We are at America's Mart for Ann Moore's Gift and Home Show Winter 2025. If you are a gift or home store, be sure that you check out their markets and shop online. Check out annmore.com. Heidi,
yes,
we're going to talk about your successful retail store. But before we do, you've been on the show, but for those people who have not listened to the first episode, take a couple minutes and tell us about you and your retail journey.
So I started doing craft shows when I was in my 20s, so that's a long time ago. And that's how I started. I made musical kids clothes and then opened my first store in 2001, then moved from that location in 2003 to Orlando, and then opened my second one in 2007. Our third was actually a franchise store in 2012, and then my fourth store in 2016 with a couple partners. That's my manager and her husband, actually. And then we sold that one, and now we're down to 2 stores, and hopefully down to 1 because I love it. And who knows what the future is going to hold. I'm not going to spill the beans on anything there.
Suspense.
But, you know, you finally get to that point where I have the store that is my ideal store. It is
I love
exactly what I pictured in my mind.
Good for you. Congratulations.
It's exciting.
That is exciting. Okay, so let's talk about, that's probably part of your success, I'm sure, is just really designing the store of your dreams. But obviously you have built a 7-figure store, 7-figure business, which is a huge accomplishment. And I think the stat, don't necessarily quote me, but I think the stat is 1.7% of $1 million businesses are owned by women.
I know. And I heard Beth Rich talk about that in her talk, and I was like, wow.
It's incredible. And so thank you for, adding to that. We got to raise that number up. That's for sure.
I agree.
So I want to peek behind the curtain a little bit and have you share with our listeners how you did it. I mean, looking back on your journey of building this $1 million store, what were some pivotal decisions or lessons that shaped your path to success?
So I think one of the biggest pivotal decisions is when I transformed from making my own clothes and I stopped being married to my own brand. I let it go. I had to let that go. That's when we started to bring in a more major brand. So, you know how everybody said, and I have this in the very beginning, is you want to say, I want to carry something that they can't find anywhere else. It's something that they're not going to find everywhere. And I had to get out of that mindset and say, I need to find things that people want.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you can't find it anywhere else. There may be a good reason for that. And maybe you keep thinking that, but then you're like, well, people don't want it. Maybe that's why they can't find it, or this just doesn't work in my store. I finally stopped being married to my brands and decided we're going to go and listen to what people want and then follow all the trends and follow like your knowledge base and everything, and just stop being married to your specific brands and just go with what works. And even though one worked for years, this would be the second time I built $1 million business. Actually, my first store that, the one I moved from St. Pete to Orlando was actually 1.8 million.
Oh,
yes.
That's awesome.
A lot due to my wonderful manager there.
Yay, love
been with me for 21 years.
Yes, which is incredible.
But that was, again, we carried a major brand, and that really boosted up our sales. But that was a biggie. I mean, and it was 500 square feet.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So that's, and I think that is, even though we say $1 million business, to me, if I have 10,000 square feet and I'm doing $1 million, that's not.
Right. We're not still paying the bills.
Right. Where we are right now, we're doing about $1,000 a square foot. So that's
awesome. Congrats. Was it hard to disconnect yourself and get a divorce from those?
I almost did get a divorce, but I didn't.
Okay.
Still with him too. But, it was really hard, to give up, especially when I made the clothes. That was really hard.
Yeah.
And then it was just transforming completely and multiple times. So it's not just once that we transform.
Yeah. Well, you have to evolve, right?
Absolutely. You have to evolve.
Exactly. It's funny. We were walking. We actually, I have to say this for the video and people who are listening. We really do have a live audience with us today, which is so incredible. And so if you're watching, we keep looking out to our audience. But Dustin, my husband and cameraman, we were walking the floors and he's never been here before. And he's like, man, you really have to kind of almost be obsessed with your products. And I was like, you need to be obsessed with your customers' wants. You could love the product, but that does not mean that anybody is purchasing that. You have to get really clear on what do they want, what do they need. And you figured that out. You started listening and shifted. And that really was a pivotal moment for you.
That really was a pivotal moment. And like you said, and you come to this market and you can be obsessed with the product, but you have to get in the mindset, when I take it back to my store, I'm not going to have that 1,000 square feet to feature this product. So you have to think, how am I going to feature it on a smaller scale?
Right.
That is still, and then sometimes we forget to look at price points and just buy that. I love it. I love it. And you're like, oh my gosh, I would never spend that much on that.
No.
So you just have to keep that in mind as well when you're shopping.
You can't be emotional about it.
Yes. Yeah. I know. And that's so sad.
That's gotta be hard. That's so sad. I know.
It's so hard.
I know it is. There's so many amazing things to buy too.
There are.
I know. So building a 7-figure business often comes with challenges, for sure. Can you share a story of resilience when it felt like everything might crumble and how you pushed through to the other side?
Absolutely. So, and again, I'm going back to my Florida Mall store for this one. Okay. And I think the big thing with that is we had one major brand that was a very, very large percentage of our sales. And they opened a brand store, corporate store, down the hall. Same mall.
Oh, wow.
Down the hall. We cried.
Yeah.
We got frustrated. Then we brainstormed. And then my manager and I, Joanna, again, we decided we're going to put up this big sign in the window featuring that brand. And we did. And that was what we call our $1 million sign.
Yeah.
It was a game changer. But other than that, we really brainstormed and focused on service. And even though you hear that all the time, it made a huge difference. Yep. We had people coming to our store saying, I'm only shopping with you because your service is so much better. It made a difference. And we were the only multi-brand store that survived with that corporate store in their mall. There's been multiple. We were the only ones that survived. And they would come to us and say, what are you doing to keep your sales so high when we have a corporate store?
Good for you.
Place. So
wow. You leaned into it then.
Oh, we did.
You put the sign. I mean, that's huge to say, okay, we're not going to shut down. We're going to embrace this and really lean in. And then you're right. You've got 2 different stores. If I'm getting better experience over here, we can talk about it. It's easy to talk about. It's not necessarily easy for people to implement.
Yes.
And really be consistent and get their teams buy-in. And this is the way that we do things. It really is a process. It sounds like you guys committed.
Yes. And it was the team that makes the difference. You can train them on anything. You can't teach people to be nice. At least not in my opinion. You have to hire nice people.
Yes, you do. That makes part of that culture.
That makes it. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I love how you didn't let it crumble. And I love how we cried.
Oh, we cried.
I would totally.
We cried. We were frustrated and for a while. And it took a while. But you rebound and
Pick yourself back
you
up.
move on.
Yeah,
That's
stronger.
exactly it.
Good for you, Heidi. I love it. Now, every business has their tipping points too. We've got challenges, we have tipping points, those breakthrough moments of like really that next level success and everything is clicking. What's one specific moment where you saw significant momentum and how did you capitalize on that?
So I would say with our most recent store, I was in one location for 14 years. And my husband was saying, why don't you just close the store? Just be done. And I said, if this location comes available, I'm going to do it. Other than that, 10 days before my lease was up, spot came available. And this is my dream store now.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, we're going to do it. So everything came together. And then the girl who used to work for me a long time ago, Roberta, who you know.
Yes.
We got her involved and she took the marketing to the next level. And she and my operations manager really the one forcing us out into the community more. Like I joined the Rotary and then we do all the events with the local magazine and we are Winter Garden. And she forces me out because we get so busy as retailers. And I'm in my store all the time, especially at night after hours doing stuff that you forget. You have to take a step back. Okay, let's go to do this event because again, people shop from people they like.
Yes.
So we have to go out there and really, we leaned into the 15-mile famers or getting involved in the community. So I think that was a big thing and just learning. And she's been so consistent with the marketing that we learned from Evolve.
Yes.
Thank you. That has been such a big game changer for us.
I love it.
Really, really a big game changer.
I love it. We're going to talk about that too.
Yes.
Amazing. 10 days before the lease.
I know, right? It was.
What were you thinking? Were you like, I'm just going to be done? I mean,
we had actually thought, because we had a feeling maybe something would open up, but we didn't know. So we went and rented this really big space just for like 6 more months to see if we want to do that. And then the lease came and they let us out of that one and they said, yeah. And it was just meant to be. That's when you look at it and go, you know what? It was meant to be. And now I love that store. I love it. It's just in downtown. It's very quaint, and we do more events and just get it really involved in the community. So.
Yeah, you are very involved in the community, which if you haven't listened to these past episodes that we did with Heidi, you've got to tune in. We'll link to it because we did talk about some of those aspects of community too. March 12th is when we stop selling tickets to Evolve. Here is what you're going to get when you go to this conference. You're going to learn how to become a destination business where people are seeking you out and driving maybe even a couple of hours to come see you. You're going to learn how to work less and make more. We have several topics on this. This is about systems. It's about structure. It's about what's working today. You're going to hear from a very successful retailer who has figured this out. You're going to learn how to get customers to come in more often. This is a challenge, getting people to come in again and again and again versus just one time. We're going to teach you how to grow loyalty. You're also going to learn how to grow your online visibility. And this is so important, whether you're an in-person brick and mortar store or online or both. There are so many things you can do to really grow. And I want this to be your year where you're really standing out online and people are easily finding you. I have had multiple retailers say that this event is life-changing. This is a business conference, but it can absolutely have such a big impact on your life and your team. This could be the difference between having an okay year or maybe kind of a down year to having an exceptional year. I want this to be your best year ever. And the sessions that we have Evolve is going to help get you there. Some logistics in your ticket price. It includes 3 nights stay at the beautiful Gaylord Rockies where the event is held. You also are getting the replays to all the sessions as well. You'll get those sent with you so you and your team could go and revisit those as well. You get networking time with the speakers, time with me. This is the event of the year that you do not want to miss. So go to rootedinretail.com/evolve. Use the code ROOTED to save some money on your ticket just by being a listener and make the investment in yourself and in your business. It's too important not to miss this. All right, I'll see you in the room. Okay, let's talk about 50 Mile Famous, because at Evolve, we had an award show, our first award ceremony, and one of them was 50 Mile Famous, and Polka Dots won, which was so exciting.
That was exciting.
A lot of my listeners know about 50 Mile Famous, but those that maybe don't, this is all about if everybody in a 50-mile radius knew your store, knew your brand, what you sell, they talk about you, that would probably change your business. And it's really looking at your marketing through that lens. And so you guys you learned that, you committed, you went home, you had meetings, you shared with me, we have meetings, we're talking about how can we be 50 Mile Famous. And you're working it, you're seeing that success. And so can you share some of the strategies you've implemented over the past to become 50 Mile Famous? You mentioned a few just now, and how they've really contributed to the store's success.
Oh my gosh, they were a huge contributor. And honestly, we got that idea at Evolve. It was the first Evolve that we went to. That's where we got the idea about 15 Mile Famous. It just stuck. We're like, we are a local community, and we have a lot of local shoppers. We have a lot of tourists too, but the word just gets around. So we really honed in on that. You know, I figured if you go to a conference and you take away one thing, then that's worth everything. And we took away a lot more than that, but the 15 Mile Famous really stuck. And Roberta is the one, wherever she went, there she is, that made it happen, because she was the one. And we would meet every week, and just the Facebook ads, like you talked about, and Instagram ads, and getting involved in the community. We do the parade, we do the movie theater. We were just looking. There's so many marketing options. There are so many advertising options. You're like, what is going to work? And we're always trying something, even though we might love this, we're like, it's just really not working. Right. But we started hearing feedback because we do the movie ad, and we started hearing feedback from that. And nobody's going to walk in and remember, like, oh, how did you hear about us? Nobody's going to remember, oh, I saw you on a billboard, or they don't remember. I wouldn't remember. I know. But you know that it's hitting them somewhere. From angles. Somewhere. Walking by, I don't know. I think that was a big thing, that we took away the 50 Mile Famous, and we started doing the parades in our local community and the events. And like I said, again, getting out with the local magazine, doing events with them. We had their first launch party, which Roberta, again, she is the one that organized it. And part of it was having somebody, a marketing person. And I know that's so hard for small businesses, and I feel it. I was the same way, but I'd almost rather pay somebody because it's going to get done. And if we're talking 7-figure store here, you just can't do that on your own. No. Like, you have to have people that support you to build the business, and things like marketing, a lot of that is follow through. It's partnership. It's you're getting out there and writing the emails, cold calling, doing the things that you can to create those connections and opportunities for the store to do that, the store owner to do that. Yeah. In addition to everything else, it's just, you can't. No. Do the things you're best at and hire out the rest. And have people that are really invested in your business. Like, I give Roberta a lot of leeway too. Let her be creative. I mean, nobody's going to die if she messes something up. I know,
which I'm glad that you say that, because a lot of retailers I talk to over the years are really afraid of letting go of the control, of it not being in their voice, of that just not resonating exactly how they would have it be. And the reality is, it's probably not going to be exactly how you want it to be.
It may be better.
And it may be better. I was just going to say, because sometimes my team will do something and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have never even thought
of it.
Yeah. But you have to give them space and allow for the creativity to seep into the store. And you do that very well.
And she does. But she does that. And I think she did learn a lot of that from going to Evolve and other things. It's a constant learning. And now she does so many creative things on, like, our social media. I'm like, wow, that's so, and she doesn't even tell me. A lot of this stuff, she'll do all these videos. I don't even know if she's videoing anything, but
Love it.
It is very important that they keep the vibe of the store, but that's why just meeting consistently.
Right. Yeah. So there's some keywords there for sure for your success. I mean, the consistency.
Absolutely.
And I would say partnerships, kind of that 15 mile, the community. And alignment, because you became very aligned with the location and what you want the store to be and the brands. They became aligned with your customer, really understanding the customer. And so I hope that our listeners are really analyzing their store. Are we seeing the consistency and the commitment and the alignment and the empowerment of our team? I mean, these things are so critical. It's not just one thing that made this store so successful. It's several things for sure.
And also, like, people will shop for products and you might do the same thing I do. Oh my gosh, I love this, but it doesn't really fit your store. It may be a great selling item. I'm not going to sell tools in my store.
Exactly.
I mean, whatever brand, Black & Decker may sell great, but not in my store. Yeah. So it could be $2 million product, but if it doesn't fit your store, it's not going to work. And it's hard to not want to bring those things in that don't fit your store too.
Restriction.
Yeah, I know, right? That's a horrible word, isn't it?
I know, I don't like that one either. It's not about restriction. It's more about just understanding your customer, honestly, is what it's all about.
And that takes time.
It takes time. I've been saying this a lot lately, and I said this on an earlier episode too. I was at the National Retail Federation this past week, and it's all big brands and celebrities. Yes. And I'm not kidding. Every single person was talking about understanding your customer.
Absolutely.
And it is such a basic thing, but a lot of people skip that step. You just have to take the time to really understand them.
And that's the nice part about being a small business.
Yes.
You can do that.
Yes.
You can talk to people one-on-one. I mean, they're coming in. You get to know their kids. You get to know what you don't get that in a big box. And that's such a big advantage for small retailers.
Use that superpower, almost like that special thing that you have in with your teams.
Yes.
Like, I think there's opportunities for some listeners to get their teams excited about getting to know the customer. Like, help them understand why it's important. Not like, this is what we do, so you just have to do it. This is more about, we got to do this because we're really understanding, because that as a small business is what sets us apart. And we're going to be better than anyone else because we're really listening and connecting. You got to commit to it.
It's important. It sure is. I mean,
it's critical.
Yeah.
So, Heidi, before we go into our resilience round, what advice would you give to other retailers who aspire to build a 7-figure business? And are there habits or systems or mindsets you think are essential to that level of success?
There's absolutely a mindset, 100%. And you're going to get knocked down all the time. At the end, I have a thing on my iPad that said, proceed as if success is inevitable. And I think that's just, when it comes to business, I'm like, I always think we're going to be a success. I don't even put it in my head that we're not going to be. This just doesn't even go in my head. And it's an everyday practice. You have to be sure to practice that. But I always move along every day like, we're going to be great. So today's a bad day. Oh, tomorrow's another day. Let's do something better. That one, again, don't get married to your brands.
Right.
Controlling your inventory. Again, something else we learned from like Management One.
Exactly.
Yes, about controlling, because at the end of the day, you could do $1 million a year in sales, but if all your profit's sitting on the shelf, it's not going to pay your bills.
Nope.
I think that's another big one. And just, have an amazing team.
Yep.
Which that's hard. I say that advice and people are like, well, how do I do that? How do I get this amazing team? You just really have to work it and let your people be a little creative. And
for sure. Well, it also comes from being a good leader.
Yeah.
And I think you're a good leader. Yeah, it does.
And we also do a lot in the community, like our charity, of course. We have our charity too. And even that, I found in the community, that helps set us apart, but we're authentic about it. Like, we're not just saying, oh, we're going to give 10% to this charity. There's a section in our store dedicated to it. They know, like, you have to walk the walk. You can't just talk about it. You have to do it.
Yeah, there's heart and meaning behind it for sure. Yeah. Which I know we talked more about the nonprofit on our first episode together. So again, everybody needs to listen to that episode because it's so good what you're doing. Because you're doing some unique things that I think would inspire some other people too. So, are you ready for the resilience round?
I'm ready as I'm going to be.
Okay. Best business book.
I don't have a best business book, but a podcast I listen to a lot. I love your podcast. And the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins is a biggie. I like that sometimes because you're just caught up in too much thinking, overthinking. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it.
Do it. Good advice. Best retail technology, like an app or software.
I still like my POS that nobody knows about, but Artisan Storefront by Ceratech. I think it's just an amazing POS system that has a lot of stuff in it without the cost. And I love it.
It's a good one. I know a lot of retailers don't know about that one, aren't using it.
And it's amazing. When they see what the cost is compared to some other big ones, it's amazing. So,
it's good. Okay. Now, how do you keep up with the ever-changing retail landscape?
Do I?
Yeah, it's hard.
Well, going to America's Mart, this is my big one, but I always go to different markets and just try to see different things. And wherever we are, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see the trends all over. It's not just in the gift market or the clothing or whatever. You have to go to. I always have my eyes open. Like I'll go into Lowe's and see something. Oh my gosh, that would be so cute for this.
So true.
Constantly learning.
Yeah.
That's it. Talking to other retailers, coming to events like this, coming to Evolve and being able to network with other retailers. That's a big thing too.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. To help retailers be stronger, more rooted in success, what's a marketing foundational best practice?
Consistency. Absolutely consistency. Like Roberta, we do the lives every week.
Yep.
Every single week. So we do them. And in fact, I don't know if we did one yesterday. We're just saying that. I think we missed it because we were in market. How can we say that? I think we maybe missed one or two in the last year.
Okay.
So we have been
consistent.
That is consistency. And even if we're out somewhere, we're usually doing, we've done several lives from here, or several videos. But, well, that is really sad now that I said that.
No. Hey, you are at market. You are
I am at market, so we are, exactly. But I think that just the consistency and constantly learning. It's always changing.
It is always changing.
Yeah,
so
for
true.
Sure.
If you had to start your business all over again, what's one thing you'd do different?
Nothing. I wouldn't. It's all a journey. Trust the journey and stop worrying about the little stuff and what happened. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd do anything differently.
Yeah. Good answer.
No,
I love it. What do you think the future of indie retail is?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it is fantastic. We've seen our sales go up. If you're committed to the service, committed to your business, I don't think it's going to be something that you can just do on the side or if you want to do the bigger numbers, you have to be committed to the business.
You got to show up. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to show up. And we can turn on a dime when we're such a small store. You can turn talking to your customers, that's not going to work. Let's sell it out. Yeah. That's the other thing. Markdowns. Don't be afraid to mark stuff down. Get rid of it.
Okay.
It's costing you money being there because you can't put something in that spot that sells.
Right. And it's almost your quote, which let's see if I can remember it, that you look at every day, move forward as if your success is inevitable.
Yep. Proceed as if success is inevitable. I just love that. It's positive and just keeps you moving forward.
And I feel like our indie retailers listening to this should just view that mindset. It's inevitable.
Absolutely.
Go indie retail.
Just go do it.
I love it.
You'll be a success if you're committed and you love what you do. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. I love it. Heidi, how can people connect and learn more?
Polka Dots Winter Garden. So Polka Dots is spelled with a Z. POLKADOTZ Winter Garden. That's our Instagram, Facebook.
Perfect.
Everything. So they can just reach us through there.
Okay. We'll link to it too. Thanks for sitting down with me.
And we're going to see you at Evolve for sure. We're really excited about that.
Me too.
So much.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be so epic and so fun.
It always is. It's amazing. So so thankful for you, for everything you have helped us with our business, because it's been a game changer.
Yeah. Well, you guys are action takers.
Yes, we are action takers.
That's what you need to do. And I love watching you guys grow. And thank you for sharing with my listeners as well. I love it. Yay. Everyone, remember that I'm rooting for your success. Have a great week ahead. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Rooted in Retail. It means the world to me. A big favor, if you're loving the show, if you could go and leave a review. If you are an Apple listener, you can also leave a comment on Spotify if you listen that way, but that would mean the world to me. And if you're loving these conversations and you want to go deeper, then consider joining us in the mastermind. That's where you can have conversations with me, other community members, as well as speakers and guests that you've seen on this show. So go to rootedinretail.com/mastermind to learn more.